Well, hello everybody. Man, oh man, oh man. What a Thursday. It's almost like maybe the second Monday of this week. But I don't have to work tomorrow. So, woo-hoo-hoo. But, dude, if you ever had a project, I'm going to go home. I'm going to get this done. It's going to be quick. It's going to be hard, but I'm going to get it done. At the very last minute, something breaks, something happens, and the project doesn't get done, and in fact, it creates more work the next day. Raise your hand. Dude, man. I don't know. When you fix things and they're not really fixed. Yeah. So anyway, welcome to the Minutes with Milo Survivor Recap. This is where we recap Survivor. Who would have thunk it? Anyway. Oh, man, his hair's getting in my way. Oh, wait a minute. I got rid of all that. Gotta watch the video. I'm on my next year's haircut hiatus. So, just hang around, watch the videos, and watch it grow. It's like a chia pet. Just like a chia pet. It's just going to grow and grow and grow. So, this is episode 62, show 62 of the Minutes with Milo. And if you're watching it live, thank you. Thank you very much. And if you're watching it later, thank you. Thank you very much. So, whether you like it, you hate it, leave me a comment. Leave me a comment if you like it. Leave me a comment if you hate it. Send it to somebody you hate or send it to somebody you love. Let them watch it. Tell them to subscribe. It'd be good for their health. I swear, laughter is good for your health. They've proven it. I didn't invent it. Let's see what this one says. Look at that. Please sub to the channel, like the video, comment, and click the notification bell. Thanks. That's from me to you. Just a little something. Just a little something from me to you. So, wasn't what I was trying to find. I was trying to find my silly phone number. There it is. There it is. All right. So I hope it's open. Maybe we get one of these fellers. One of these fellers that always comes and hangs out and chat. Maybe we'll get one of them fellers to call in. Maybe we won't. Who knows? If it does, it's a big surprise. All right, let me move that up there. Okay. So, last night's Survivor show. I hope you watched it. If you didn't watch it, just hang loose and I will befuddle your mind with silly facts as I recall them. I'm not an expert. Don't play one on TV. Never have. Don't even play one in real life. Okay? So, hold on now. That's what you get. Working in the bushes and cutting leaves and honeysuckle. That's part of what I was doing the night before the show. But my camera's working. Look, there you are. I see you. The camera's working. Everything seems to be going good. I ate a little something. I would tell you what I ate, but I want you to continue to watching the show. I don't want you to have to run to the bathroom and puke. Just a concoction I threw together of leftovers. It involves spaghetti. That's all I can tell you. Sauerkraut. That's all I'm going to tell you. That's it. Those are two of the ingredients. Spaghetti and sauerkraut. I did not put it in a tortilla. So there. If any of you watch this, know me, I put a lot of stuff in tortillas. White bread, wrap that thing in a flour tortilla and heat it up. So last night's Survivor. I guess every show has a little surprise in it. Got a little something built in, not built in, but a little something happens that you think, well, you know what, I could do better. Or I wouldn't have done that. But you know what? The more I watch the shows and the more I talk to you guys about them, the more I realize those guys that edit the shows, that edit the episodes, that pick out the little clips, that put it all together, man, they're leading us around by the nose. And that's not bad. I mean, you know, but, you know, you get kind of caught up in this, that, or another thing. I don't know. I'm not an expert on Survivor. Maybe an expert could tell you how many hours, minutes of footage. Hey, Robert. Yeah, it is. Well, you know, we talked about it one time. It seems like if you pay attention, and maybe it's just hindsight, that some of the people they kind of follow around and they show them in the background and they show, you know, little clips and pieces of them. You know, those are the ones that get bite the dust in the end. But hey, there's Clell. Hey, there's the two regular guys. So either one of you guys want to give a call in and talk, see what you think about last night's show? If not, I can ramble on. But like I said, every show has a little bit of surprise. And if you try to call in and you don't get an answer, let me know. I can't swear to you that this phone thing's working. Every show has a little bit of a surprise. And sometimes it's delayed. So I think last night's surprise was, you know, of course, the tribal council. A lot of surprises in the tribal council. So you don't really get to see the effects until the next show. But they gave us a little clip of the end, and we'll discuss that when I get to the end of the show. So anyway, let me share this out so we can all look at these people. Present. Show screen. Share screen. This one here. Share it up. Put it in the stream. Alright. So, there's my typical Survivor. So, I'm trying to think. Matt is already on the jury. Brandon is on the jury. And then Kane. Kane was voted out the other show. So those people are on the jury. Right? And this was kind of a surprise. You know, but here again, he thought he was getting really good. He was cocky, and he even said it. And it ended up the Survivor curse that bit him in the butt. You don't do that. Boston Rob, he avoided that curse a lot. Because he played several times. Tony, the cop, I think he avoided the curse about I'm running the show and, you know, didn't really get voted out. So Franny, this little girl here, was doing really well on the show. She had won already 2 challenges, and they had another challenge. They actually had 2 challenges. One was a reward challenge, and the other one was the immunity challenge. So the reward challenge, it's always a double-edged sword. And I don't know. I would almost not win this reward challenge because it just puts a target on your back. It can. And the kind I'm speaking of is when Jeff describes the challenge and they're doing all these things and he says, you want to know what you're playing for? And everybody goes, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. And it tells you that you're going to go on a retreat, okay? And that you're going to spend some time, he called it the sanctuary. So you're going to spend some time there, and you're going to have all this. You're going to have the food. You know, they had tacos and margaritas and beer and all this other kind of stuff. Water. You know, if I went on Survivor, this is on the list. Things not to do. Okay? Don't drink alcohol on Survivor. Why? Because your body is in a tizzy already. You're not eating. You're eating crazy stuff, or you're eating rice, or you're eating coconut, or eating fish. You're not eating regular. You know, your body's just in a turmoil. Then you go on these rewards, and they fill you full of peanut butter and jelly, or hamburgers, or pizza, or tacos, or, you know, fruits and vegetables. Okay? So your body's depleted. You want to eat, you know, healthy stuff, not alcohol. I always go for the water. I think hydration, water, all the way. When you get out of Survivor, there'll probably be plenty of people wanting to buy you drinks. So don't even waste your time. Try to stay as healthy as possible, as hydrated as possible. Don't go for the alcohol. So that's, I don't know. The only one I've ever really seen get tipsy-turvy that I can remember, tipsy-topsy, whatever, getting drunk on the Survivor was Big Tom in Africa. And yeah, it was funny. And the next day he seemed to be pretty okay. But I can't imagine being hungover in Survivor. You're eating all that food. You know it's going to make you feel bad. And then the next day, there's nothing. There's no aspirin. There's no Pepto. There's no antacids. There's no anything. You know, you just got to be miserable on top of being miserable already. So I would just stay away. Stay away from alcohol. Anyway, so when he says all that stuff, you've got to know he's going to want to he's going to give you the opportunity to take somebody. And if he takes you one, there's going to be two. And if there's two, there's going to be three. Okay, so don't think, oh man, I'm going to go and relax and I can sit in the hammock all by myself, sip margaritas, eat tacos, and just think about my game. No, that's not going to happen. You're going to win, and he's going to say, pick somebody. And then you're going to pick somebody. And then he's going to say, pick somebody else. You're going to do that. It just goes on. And there's 8 people, I think, now. So he let her pick herself and 3 others, 4 people. And he also throws in there, this is the time that you get letters from loved ones. Okay? So, double whammy, big double-edged sword. This is like one of them broadswords that they used in Highlander. This thing's huge. It's going to cut you both ways. So, I have seen, believe it or not, I have seen people say, Jeff, I want to give up my reward, and I want to give it to blah, blah, blah. And then that takes the burden off of you, puts it on to somebody else. So, but anyway, Franny won the reward. And she takes Heidi, this girl, okay, and she takes Carolyn, the crazy girl, and she takes, what's her name? Jamie, and she takes So, is that right? So, she takes Maddie, and she takes this girl, Jamie. That's 2 guests. And she takes Carolyn. That's 3 guests. Oh, wait a minute. She doesn't take Maddie. No, she does take Maddie. She doesn't take Jamie. She doesn't take Jamie. She takes Heidi instead. So it's her, Heidi, Carolyn, and then Jamie. Not Jamie. I'm sorry. I always say that. Maddie. They don't call her Maddie. Do they call her Maddie in the show? Is that what everybody knows about in the show? So, those 3 women are mothers. So she uses the thing, hey, I know everybody that's a mother's really looking forward to letters from their kids, and so I want to take the mothers. And, everything's hunky-dory at that. They're eating, they're drinking, they read the letters, it's all great. They share the experiences. But they get back to the island, and it's like they owe no alliance, to Franny for taking her, for taking them. They just, all of a sudden just, throw it to the wind. So it's really kind of funny because it was 4 ladies. There's always been this thing about, hey, let's get a ladies alliance together and we'll go to the end and we'll show these dudes, what's what. And it, just like a lot of things in Survivor, it falls apart. It almost always does. It's just because people get jealous. They get suspicious. They get, they feel like they can't trust each other. And it always seems to fall apart. And so, when they were on the island eating and drinking, they were all like, hey man, this is really great. I really like playing, doing the game with you girls. They didn't officially say a girls' alliance, but they were leaning that way. But they get back to camp, and they've got to vote somebody out. And then they go to the immunity challenge. And it's have you ever did one of those things where you put the baseball bat on your head and you bend over and you spin around on the ground and you try to go do something? It was very similar to that. So they did a dizzy trick. And then they had to go across this netting and they had to untie these knots to get these volleyballs, and they had to throw the volleyball up on this thing. Was that the immunity challenge? No. The immunity challenge was the puzzle. They ended up doing a puzzle. And that was the reward challenge. The immunity challenge was a puzzle at the end. And Carson, this young man here, the Harry Potter looking dude, won the immunity challenge. So he was safe. And that's when they started scrambling it. They went back. Everything fell apart on those ladies that went to the reward. Everything was falling apart. They had a plan to vote out Jamie, this lady here. Jamie had an idol. I'm not 100% sure it was a good idol, because when they were showing it on the screen, it said fake idol. And I can't remember if this is the one that Danny let her find or something else. Somebody else gave her a fake one. But anyway, she had an idol. Last tribal council, she gave it to Kane. I talked about this in the other show. She gave it to Kane to hold because they thought they had this knowledge is power thing where people could steal stuff. So she gave it to Kane. Kane got voted out. Whether it was fake or true or real, it went out with him. So while most of the women were off in the reward challenge, she came clean to the other people that were there, saying, hey, I had an idol because she believed it was a real idol, and I gave it to Cain because of this, and he walked off with it. And that's what happened. Whether it was real or fake, that's what happened. Nobody believed her. They thought it was all a con. They just thought it was all a misdirection, as Robert had said earlier. It was just a thing where it was like, oh, well, I lost the idol, and they didn't believe her, even though it was the truth. I'd love to see the reactions on people's faces when they watched last episode, when she actually gave it to him and he walked off with it, got voted out. I'd love to see the reactions on their faces when they figured out, oh man, and we accused her of telling a lie. That was terrible of us. Of course, they wouldn't think that. So anyway, they didn't believe her. And when everybody came back from the reward challenge, everybody was, there, and they started talking to them. And then when Carson won the immunity challenge, her name immediately came up because they thought, oh man, she's playing the game so hard, she's lying, she told it so convincingly. It's just amazing. We've got to vote this girl out. So that's where it started, and it bounced around for a little while, and finally ended up on Franny. Right? So they were going to vote Heidi for a period of time. They were going to vote Franny. They were going to vote Jamie. But the deal is, all this time, the last few votes, the Tika tribe, the three members right here, have always been the middle person. Always been kind of the swing vote, if you will. So, last night was no different. The only thing different was Carolyn had gone to the reward challenge with Franny. And Franny was really making an effort to befriend Carolyn, get a relationship with her, talk to her, win her favor. And she was doing that. So Carolyn didn't want to vote Franny. She was wanting to vote, I think at the end, she was wanting to vote Heidi out. Well, her two Tika tribe mates didn't really, go along with that. So they voted the way they thought was right. They ended up voting out Franny, this girl. And Jam Jam had said, I've got to make up my mind. Carson said, I've got to make up my mind. This is going to be tough. I think they made the wrong decision. And the only reason I say that is because Carolyn is a loose cannon. She is. And at the end of the show, after the tribal council, they always go, on next week on Survivor. And when they did that, they showed little clips of Carolyn going off on these guys, going off on the people, and saying what kind of bull crap that was, and blah, blah, blah. And Jam Jam, it showed one little clip of him. I think that vote was a mistake. So, I'm thinking she's going to go bonkers on these two guys here, her tribe mates. And just, like I said, she's just kind of a loose cannon. I think she's just going to stop doing anything. She, like Jam Jam, she saved Jam Jam once, I think. She was, real happy that he didn't get voted out the one time. So I think that's going to come to an end. And if that does, they lose some of that we're in the middle power, swing vote thing. But there's only 7 now, I think. So with 2 votes, even if these guys stick together and vote to say, she becomes an outcast in the group because she's so mad at them, I think these 2 can probably still swing leverage. Robert's kind of liking on Carolyn here. She's smart in a way. You know, people see things a lot differently. Some people, you know, me and somebody else may see things slightly different. And then you get somebody like Carolyn that sees things a lot different than other people. You know, she probably is smart in kind of a basic way, because what I get from her is she is almost just a complete product of intuition or feeling or her heart or whatever, and she acts like she's rationally thinking things through, when really I think she's building a case to go with her gut or go on her emotions, or you know, something like that. She sees things. She has insight. Well, the producers may work at showing her crazy, but I don't think that's a hard swing. I don't think it's a hard sell. You know, she is definitely, you know, she's got her own drummer. I'll put it that way. She's got her own drummer, good, bad, or indifferent. She doesn't see things a lot like other people do. And they must like really edit some of the footage to get some of her expressions. At tribal council, you know, she makes these faces, and they show these faces on TV, and it's just, you know, I don't know how she makes her face look like that. But, you know, she does. So, but I think, you know, she's got that, you know, fool me once, you know, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you, however that works. So, I don't think she'll be playing ball with them fellas much anymore. Which may not even hurt their, you know, their game. And their game is the swing vote. That's how they're controlling the game. When I talked last show, what these guys ought to do is what they should have done. They talked about it the show before last night. I wished I could remember who it was. It may have been Franny that said, one of these people said, you know what we need to do? We need to vote out a Tika tribe member because they have a lot of power. And they should have done that then, but they didn't. And it's still, they're in that swing position, even with 2 votes. Even if Carolyn, of course, now she could jump ship and go someplace else, which, you know. So 7 people tied, that's 6, 1 swing vote. 2 could really make it. I mean, you know, so they still have 3. Franny's gone. 3, 4, 5. There's 5, 6, 7. Yeah, there's 7 people. 2 Ratu tribe members, 3 Tikas, and 2 Sokas. Right. So, right now they are in the majority, the Tika. But if Carolyn gets mad and swings around and does crazy stuff, you know, it could affect how they're able to, you know, to manipulate the votes. But there's still 2 of them. They vote together. You know, they can probably still control it. But I think she'll be gunning for them because she really was liking Franny. They both voted for Franny. And so I think, you know, she'll be gunning for them. I don't think they're going to be safe. Or they'll gun for her and she'll be gone the next time if she doesn't win an immunity challenge. I can't see her ever winning and a immunity challenge. But you never know, she could. So anyway, not huge surprises, but I think there might be some pretty good ones coming up because it's down to it. So I'm trying to think. I don't know how many shows might be left. I think I'm going to take it down to 3 people. You know, I don't know how they decide that. There's been, survivors where they've gone down to just the 2. And then, but most of the time there's 3. So that leaves 4 more votes, right? So the last immunity challenge, the winner of the immunity challenge gets to pick 1 person to go with them and then 2 people to fight it out or do something for the 3rd position. So there's 3 more, if I remember correctly. See, you guys think that's right? I think there's going to be 3 more tribal councils. That would leave 4 people. So the last immunity challenge, the winner, do they pick 1 to go with them? And then the other 2, or is it only they pick 1 to go with them? No, I think they do it down to 4. 1's a shoe-in, and the others have to fight to get in for the top 3. I think that's the way it works. Is that the way it works? So if that's true, there'd be 3 more tribal councils to vote out and then leave the last, tribal council community challenge down to the 4. Winner, pick 1, the other 2 battle it out, you get the 3, and then you do your presentation to the jury. Think that's it? Well says yes. Right, because I'm thinking that's the way it is. I don't remember exactly, but I think they get it down to 4, and then that person wins, and then that whittles it down to 3. You take 1, and then there's a fight between the 2 to get that final 3rd position, and then that's when they present to the jury. I think. So, not too many shows left. Not too many shows left. Who don't I want to see going? I don't think I want to see Jam Jam. He's just been hanging on by the skin of his teeth. I don't think I want to see Carolyn. She's just, I think, kind of like Jam Jam, just been in the right place, the right time. No threats, any of that kind of stuff. So, I think for sure I'd like to see Carson and Danny. I don't know. If you take out these 2, that leaves 5. You go Carson. I'd rather see Danny and Heidi. I don't know. For some reason, I'm not a fan of Jamie, and I'm not a fan of Maddie either. I don't know. Anyway, we'll see how it goes. So, I think that's about it. Can't think of anything else that jumped out at me that was kind of nifty or crazy. Yep. You guys got anything else? Anything else y'all think of that stood out in y'all's mind that I didn't cover or didn't go over? There was something else. And I meant to, me and my wife mean to do this every time, every season, we need to watch Ponderosa. There's some way, I don't know. Maybe it's on YouTube. Maybe it's on, the network channel's website. I don't know. There's a way that you can go and kind of catch glimpses of the survivors when they get voted off and they go to the jury, like what happens to them when they leave the tribal council. Now I've watched a few of them, and they're very interesting because life as a juror is very nice. So they have a cafeteria. They're usually staying. They can't stay in a motel. They're usually staying, of course, sequestered somewhere. But there's always beaches. There's a workout room. They'll go and make. I've seen them make visits to Fiji Island villages. People that aren't, or can't go out and say, well, who didn't make it to the end was, Cain because he got voted out, or Matthew because he got voted out. So they'll do things like that. But I think on the jury, you swim and play and eat and drink whatever and go do things and scuba dive. I think life on the jury is where I would want to be because, I don't know. The chances of winning $1 million to me just seem like, pretty high or pretty low. But anyway, Ponderosa. Matthew and Franny had a little thing going, kind of romantic, kind of, on the edge. Now they're at Ponderosa together. Will this blossom? Will they just find out that it's like, now that we're eating well and we're rested and we've got other things to do besides, be drawn together because of this game, you're not as great as I thought you were. Or will they, still stay, really tight? So that's a new word Robert come up with. Given how she, I don't know what she thinks. She says, given how she says what she thinks. Gibberish. Is that what you wrote was gibberish? Or the things that she says is gibberish? And I think a lot of both of that's true. But yeah, Carolyn. But Ponderosa, I'd like to watch and see what happens between those two if they show any kind of romantic link in the Ponderosa. But back to Carolyn in the show, I just don't, man, I don't know. I can't imagine being an addict, an alcoholic, drug addict or something, and going to her for counseling. I just don't know how effective she would be. A lot of the idiosyncrasy, those weird things that she does, the facial expressions and, all that kind of stuff that she does. Hopefully she doesn't do that in her, her sessions with her clients, but that seems to be her. So, I don't know. I can't wait to see her at the reunion show to see what's going on with that. So anyway, maybe I'll check out Ponderosa between now and next Thursday, so I can maybe find out a little bit of something, find out how you watch it, talk about a little bit going on Ponderosa. Bond over experience. Yep. I don't know. It'll be interesting if I can find out. I'd be interested to see. And then the reunion show, yeah, maybe they'll end up being an item. I think Jeff, way back when, there was a couple of girls, not bad looking girls, and they were doing one of these challenges where he starts offering food. Hey, what would it take to get you to jump out? What would it take to get you to do this? What would it take to get you to do this? And one girl popped up and says, I'll strip naked for a jar of peanut butter. And, it's on like Donkey Kong. Here's your jar of peanut butter, and she's stripped down. I think he ended up dating her for a while. If I'm not mistaken, I think he did. Or maybe I'll try to look that up too. So, anyway, that'll be it for this show. Close that out. Did anybody try to call? It didn't ring. I don't think he tried to call. I think Clell was trying to avoid it by putting it off on Robert. I don't even know if Robert even saw it. But anyway, Monday night, don't have any idea what it's going to be about. But we'll think of something. Got lots of good ideas. Anyway, thanks everybody. Let me get rid of this thing. Remove that so you can see me saying goodbye to everybody. If you're just watching this, you get to at the end after it's been on all this time. Thank you very much. If you watched it and you haven't subscribed to the channel, you owe it to yourself to subscribe. You already put dang almost 45 minutes into this thing, so you might as well go ahead and subscribe to the channel. I've got 81. Can you believe it? 81 subscribers. Been creeping up there. I'm hoping all these subscribers are watching. I know they're not leaving me comments. And I love subscribers, but I'm kind of disappointed in y'all not leaving comments. Even if it says, hey, I could only watch 5 minutes of it, but keep up the good work. I don't care. Tell me something. Tell me something I hate. Tell me something I love. Make something up. Tell me a joke. One day I think maybe Monday will be about dad jokes. What makes a dad joke? What do you think? I think I'm going to do Monday show on dad jokes. It's been on my list. I just never have done it. So let me put this down right here. We'll put this down. I'm glad somebody suggested that. Dad jokes. Dad jokes. See? Monday, gonna be that. I know it looks like Russian. Shh, comrade. It's okay. Don't tell nobody. Alright. Dad jokes. Monday. Gonna have a few. Hopefully, people that are on the Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I've got Reddit, but I don't know. Maybe I'll look on Reddit to get some dad jokes. Those are always good. So, Monday night's dad joke night. We're going to do that. All right, everybody. Clell, Robert, as always, thank you. Tell your friends. Twist your wife's arms, your girlfriend's arms, your mama's arms. Not too hard, Robert. Not too hard. I have to report you if you twist your mama's arm. Get somebody to watch. Get somebody to like. Get somebody to subscribe. So anyway, thank y'all. Nighty night.